you, gentlemen. And we're going to come back home with a question on education. Jackson, you can start us off. One of the big accomplishments of the Bush administration was the No Child Left Behind Act, and I think it's safe to say it's kind of fallen apart these days. The current administration is giving exemptions to states across the country so that they don't have to meet the standardized test scores. What are your thoughts on this legislation? Do we continue to get rid of it? What are your thoughts on your plan for education in the future of America?
Well, you are right. The NCLB has, as you put it, fallen apart. It is yet another case of Congress that's been unable to come together on a piece of legislation. NCLB has some laudatory goals, but the way it goes about doing it has proven to be unworkable. We can see how many schools have been rated as failing schools under the Act, and how many have needed waivers from the government. I think what we need to concentrate on in education in this country is to make sure that we are getting great teachers in the classroom. If you look at other countries, and so let's take a step back and just look at where the U.S. is in education. Right now, we are not doing as well as we need to be. We are at best average, and unfortunately often below average in international reading, math, science proficiency tests. If you look at those countries that are performing well, countries like in Scandinavia, and you look at how they treat their teachers, teaching in those countries is one of the top 3 professions that students aspire to. It's something that's encouraged. Teachers are paid at the same graduate level of education that those in similar positions in those countries are. We need to make sure that we are building up that profession here in the United States. I have 2 brothers. One works in finance, and one works as a teacher. And you can imagine which one is paid more. And yet we, as a society, expect our teachers to be the very best. We expect our children to have the very best teachers in education. We need to make sure that we match that with what we do.
Thank you. Rick?
Okay, my first concern for students would be those with learning disabilities, and the federal government does provide funding for special education needs. The vast majority of dropouts are students who have learning disabilities. There is a tremendous explosion of technology that can help students in all shapes and forms to learn better. It's an incredible new tool that we've been given. And the federal government should be using block grants at the local level, where the local level has control for how it is spent, but to use and to experiment with new forms of technology for students with learning disabilities. The model of 30 kids in a class with a chalkboard behind them, kind of like where we're sitting now, doesn't fit for all children. And because of technology, we have the ability to instruct kids in ways that they can actually learn better than they ever have before. And that's a #1 priority for me. It's a new area, and we need to get on that quickly, because my first concern is to prevent the number of kids that are dropping out, because my concern overall is that people who are struggling, whether it's children or people that have low skills, you're not college educated, you're not an attorney, those are the people that are at risk for becoming a permanent underclass in this country. And at the federal level, that should be our first priority, to provide assistance. Second, I will never vote for anything that is a backdoor to union busting. There's a lot of things that are touted as helping education when the real focus of it is just to get rid of our teachers' unions. I support our teachers' unions. They need to be there, and they need to be strong.
Thank you. Another hot topic due, I think, primarily